Hey, and welcome to Anne's Norwegian Knitting, conversations where knitting meets culture, heart, and history. I'm Anne, and in this podcast, we're going to slow down stitch by stitch to explore the stories, the traditions, and joys that live in our knitting. Sometimes it's going to be just me, other times you will meet Steph, and other times again, I will be joined by friends, colleagues, or special guests. But always, always, always with yarn in hand and curiosity at heart. Thanks for being here. Let's dive into the next episode. Hello, everybody. It's another Wednesday. Actually, it might be Thursday when we post this because I don't know if we managed to get it done before Wednesday. But it's supposed to be another Wednesday and another podcast episode. And as always, Anne is here with you. And as always, I'm here with
Steph. I'm here.
Yes.
Hey.
We talked about, because you can see this on the screen right now for those of you watching us on YouTube. And I highly recommend that because then you're going to see all the hands waving and all the smiling and all that stuff. And you're also going to see three beautiful knitters. And I just told them before we got on that we start off the podcast like this, do that. Then I said this, and then I said, and I'm here with, and then Steph never knows when to say Steph, and she doesn't. We are practicing. I'm sitting here thinking that Steph actually knows how to read my brain, so that's how well we work together. But that's not the point. So that's not the main thing about today's podcast. Today's podcast is going to be all about level 2. The Norwegian Knitting Magic course, level 2. And with us today, we have three beautiful knitters. We have Roseanne, we have Kerry, and we have Tiffany. And we call Tiffany Tiff. So there you go. And I am going to, for those of you who are just listening, they just waved, all of them. I think maybe Steph is going to let them introduce themselves a bit. I'm going to leave the word today to Steph, so she's going to lead this conversation. I'm going to be here interrupting. Okay, Steph, are you ready?
Okay, ready? I'm ready. I'm going to ask everybody just the fun questions first. Let everybody get to know you guys. How long have you been knitting, Roseanne?
I've been knitting. I learned how to knit when I was 5 and knit some during my earlier years. And then it went by the wayside as I went through some of my education and early career, and probably started knitting more in earnest about 20 years ago.
Oh, 20 years ago. Okay.
But since 5, so I've been knitting, that's 60 years that I've known how to knit.
Yeah.
And how did you find Anne's Norwegian Knitting?
I actually found it through a store called The Yarnery. They were advertising about the Eternity Shawl. And I started looking then online to find Anne. And I'm like, okay, I have to do that. And so
The Yarnery, for anybody who doesn't know, is a yarn shop in Minnesota, in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Yeah, it's a great little yarn shop if anybody's
and
looking.
they were advertising the Eternity Shawl then and all the different kits and everything. I thought, okay, I'm going to do it.
So was that your first project?
That was my first project that I started.
Have you finished
it?
What was her first project that she started? Huh?
I did.
No.
Very well worded.
It's in progress. Let's put it that way.
In progress. Terry, how long have you been knitting?
I have been knitting since I was 4 years old. I'm 67, so for 63 years. I did not take a break like Roseanne. I just kept plowing through.
Cool. And how long have you been with Anne's Norwegian Knitting, or how did you find it?
A friend of mine shared a post from Facebook with me and maybe was tired of me talking about knitting and wanted me to have a group I could be a part of where I could talk about knitting. And so I actually joined what was then called the Nook, but is now the Mountain. And I think I attended once and life was insane. And then last year's virtual retreat happened. And I attended that. And I have gone nuts ever since then.
You have. We'll talk about that later. You have.
And I in that.
Can you second that?
Yes, that nuts thing.
What was your first project?
So my first project was this hat.
Oh, that's a pretty hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the hat on the retreat last
It
year.
is the retreat hat. Yep. So that was the first and Norwegian's knitting project was that hat. And I made 2 of the retreat hats.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. And you just happened to have it right there.
I thought you might want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tiffany, how long have you been knitting?
I'm very similar to Roseanne, but I started a little later in my teenage years. I actually got interested in knitting, and my mom was a crocheter, so she couldn't teach me. So I had to learn from books. Getting the books in the library and
Yeah.
how do you do this? But I took
You're
a break.
dedicated.
Oh, thanks. I took a break and I started knitting about 20 years ago. So I would say total about 20 years. But
20
I
years.
learned when I was a teenager and I tried to make a sweater.
Tried?
It was donated.
It was good enough to donate that it was pretty good.
I finished it, but it was too big on me. Yeah.
How did you find Anne's Norwegian Knitting?
I joined last year and I'm not sure where I saw the ad, but I joined the Great Norwegian Experience last year when Anne did a lot of YouTube videos. Maybe it was recommended to me on YouTube. And after watching a few of the sessions and chatting with Anne, decided to jump in and learn how to knit better.
That's cool.
Learn
That
how to knit
I
better.
like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because this. I know when you joined. I have control of my Northern Lighters, more or less. When you joined during the wool month
Yes.
last year to the
Yes.
Light, and if you say that it might be that you were recommended on YouTube, that might be it because I hardly ever use YouTube. Apart from during the wool month, because we do some live calls and we show all that on YouTube and we broadcast that on YouTube, and that during that month, stuff is shared, right? But that's going to change. We are changing it now. We are using more YouTube than we have been recently. But that was cool knowing that you didn't actually come through the traditional sources that normally is Facebook in my world.
I did not come through the traditional route. I'm not exactly sure how, but I saw the free YouTube videos and watched it, joined from there.
Cool. I love
So
it.
you've been with Anne's Norwegian Knitting then like 6 months, Tiffany?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
wow. So you're
Yeah.
fairly new-ish.
fairly new.
What was your first project?
My first project is my level 2 sweater, again, which I have right here.
So you started small.
I started small, right? I did knit a hat, my swatch hat, right? Remember my swatch hat?
Yes.
And it
Very
was
small.
It was
And then I knitted a second swatch hat. That's a little bit bigger.
Yep.
And
Very
this one
tight.
fits me. Yay. Yeah. So this is a great gauge test
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
for anyone who does not like to swatch like me. That's
You found out why you have to.
yes, because the hat is very tight on my head. It hurts. I get a migraine when I try to put it on.
I recommend you not trying to put it on.
It might be a donated.
It
Put it
might,
on
or
the
does
weight.
anyone have little children?
Yeah. Or it actually stays as this is where I started. And in 2 years' time, you can say, this is where I'm now, but this is where I started.
Yes.
Right.
Another idea was to use it to practice steeking.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna practice
Yeah.
making.
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell that another day.
we'll see. But thank you.
So Roseanne, you talked about knitting before Anne's Norwegian Knitting. So how has your knitting changed since you've been part of this group?
I'm actually looking at my gauge a lot more. I can tell you an experience similar to Tiff's from when I was younger. When I was younger, I decided to make my brother a sweater. and I was probably about 15, 16. And I really didn't know how to measure people. Yeah, I sewed. And so I knew some of that, but I didn't know how to measure. And my brother said, no, no, guys, you measure around here. Okay, I'll believe you. Guys are measured around here. So I measured around the arms for the chest circumference. This sweater was probably what women would now wear, the real baggy ones with the leggings. It looked like that. And it was a gold color with color work and everything with was beautiful sweater, other than it was humongous. And I don't know what happened to it. Got lost in all my parents' moves, but it's gone. But now I know to check my gauge probably a little better, and also how to measure things better. So that has helped a lot. So I would say the gauge and measuring and learning what you're looking for, what kind of fit, especially as I continue to change myself, that will be very helpful in the future here too.
Yeah. Yeah. That is one of the nice things in level 2 is like you can do the fit you want, not the fit that people tell you to have. Like the oversized over leggings, you can fit what you learn how to do it, make it the way you want to fit.
And you just
Yeah.
don't follow just a set pattern, your size this and this pattern, just follow all this. Now I know how to modify that and modify the arms and the neck and the bodice and everything the way I would like it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what I did said level 2. I think everyone knows what we are thinking. Everyone knows about it. The level 2 is where we teach people how you learn how to knit a sweater or a cardigan with colorwork top down. But you also, that's one thing, but we teach that the Norwegian way, then the continental knitting with the continental knitting technique. But we also teach you how to adapt the pattern to your fit, which is, I can't think of anything more ridiculous than the thought and the concept of having one size fits all, because we are so different in our bodies. Some of us we are one size on the bust, and then we have a completely different size on the sleeves or on the around the waist line. And we do that in that course. You learn all that. You not only knit a garment, but you learn to know your knitting, how your knitting actually comes across, and you also know how to fit that pattern to your body. And then, as an afterthought, you learn about the stitching for those who do the cardigan. Yeah. Does that sum it up, Steph? Just to give people some hangers to hang it on?
Yeah. And at the
Everyone-
end, we should talk about the different patterns that are
Yeah.
in that and what we do.
Mm.
But
I just wanted to make sure that everyone, if there are anyone new in here listening to us or watching us, give them idea what this level 2 is all about. Yes.
and we do this, the gauge swatch Tiffany was holding up.
Mm.
It is a hat that matches your sweater. So you get a matching ensemble at the end.
For those of you watching, I have to say that if you haven't seen it, Steph is wearing a cardigan, but that cardigan is not finished. It's just started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah.
I have no sleeves.
Yeah. It's neat.
But Anne will put in a picture of a completed one that I've done.
The one that is the one where you see her in the green
Yep,
with the
and
pink on.
pink.
That's finished. The finished one. Yep.
And yeah, one of the cool things about this level 2 that Anne offers is you can take it once, but you can also take it again. So if you pay for it once, you have the option of taking it twice. That's a huge benefit. So that's why I wanted to show my undone.
Cool.
Yeah. Tiffany, you started with level 2. Do you
Yes.
recommend that to other people?
I think so. I had for experienced knitters, I think level 2 was good for me. I wanted to learn again, like I wanted to learn how to fit the sweater better. I've made enough mistakes making other sweaters, just following the pattern. And I was really focused on that. And when Anna and I chatted, she thought level 2 would be the right place to start that. But at some point, I will probably go back and make the shawls and the mittens. Right now, I'm just focused on my cardigan. But yeah, I think it's an okay place to start. And I love the camaraderie of the group. And I think that was the other thing that I really wanted to experience. And yeah, I knew how to knit and purl. I've done other lace designs and shawls. So I felt like it was a good place to start for someone who's experienced.
Good.
But I do think if you're a brand new knitter, maybe not. You might be a little bit overwhelmed. But if you already made a garment, then level 2, I think, is a good place.
Which is the intention, really, because when we first did this, when we first started, not we, when I first started this, the very first course I offered was what is today level 2. And then when we did that, I realized that, okay, there are people that really shouldn't start here. They should start the step below. And that's where, when I made up my mind and decided to offer the level 1, where we do smaller garments and where we focus on getting those strands right and the what you call it, the dominant colors and all that kind of the nitty gritty things that you need to know as in general. But that is also now offered as a self-study course. So for those who want to do level 2 at some point, if you haven't done level 1 but you feel you want it, you can go through that on your own. We just finished the live teaching. We're finishing it tonight, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. We are.
Like the last call, because we do live teaching of that course every year, but you can buy it as a self-study and start at the beginning and go through it if you want to do level 2, but go through that first. But I agree with you, Steph. It's absolutely, for some people, level 2 is the right place to start. For others, they should probably do level 1 first. Yeah.
Yep. Tiffany, how did level 2, do you think it changed your knitting any?
Oh, yeah. I haven't mastered yet, but I am. One of the things I really wanted to do also was to learn Continental, holding the 2 strands in my left hand. And I haven't mastered it yet, but I do switch to that when I'm doing the color work. It does go a little faster. When I'm tired, I'll switch back to combination, which is 1 of each. But just nice to have that option and learn how to tension the yarn and how to hold that. And I think Anne does a great job with the videos and showing you very clearly how to tension. Yeah, so I think I've learned that. I've learned the sizing. Wow, like Steph, when you went through all the spreadsheets, I'm like, oh. So there's a great Google spreadsheet that we all use to put in the measurements, and then that magically transforms to like how many stitches based on your gauge. Yeah, I've learned a ton that I'm really grateful for. And just, yeah, again, all the knitters are so friendly and nice. It's a really great group.
It really is. Yeah. And Anne has set up for us, there's a lady in the United States, Suzanne, who has SU fibers. And she helps you, for those of us, and I'll put myself in it, are sometimes color challenged. She is an online person, but brings the colors to the window, takes pictures, help you pick the colors. But Tiffany, you got to go see her shop in person. So
I think it's like cosmic karma. So I booked my trip to my hotel, which is Pennsylvania. And before I even joined Anne's Norwegian Knitting, and instead I was in Norwegian Knitting, then the trip was coming up, and I looked up Sue Fibers, where location was, and it was about a 30-minute drive from my hometown. So it worked out like perfect. I was like, I'm going to be there. Suzanne, are you available? Can I stop by? And she was friendly and offered and said, yeah, so we're home. It just worked out. Like things just really worked out that day. It's like her inventory and her shop, like where all the yarn is. It was like amazing.
you got to pick out your colors for your level 2 at her house, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I actually brought a suitcase, even though, and the yarn came home with me. Yes.
Perfect. And we should, just a little plug for her. The wool that she sells is from Norway, which is a huge benefit. And some, like the Selbo yarn, can only be purchased from her. Anne helped get her set up. Is that a good way of saying it? She was part of the community, and then I
absolutely.
think
She
Anne
was,
pushed her into setting up, maybe.
yeah, I did say something about that someone should pick up that idea. And she did pick up on that idea. So I think we had her as a guest in this podcast in episode 3 or something, 2 or 3 or something, very early in the episode. Can you believe it? We're almost done 50 episodes. I'm just digressing.
No, I can't
But
believe it.
but anyway, yeah. And I've been in that yarn heaven myself, as that Tiff is talking about, because I visited the States a year and a half ago, and I was staying a couple of days with Suzanne, and that going downstairs into that cellar where all the yarn is was like, oh, I'm not going out, just staying here.
And then you also I got to see some of her finished sweaters and shawls and things. And that was really nice to be able to feel it in person too. And then look at the finished objects. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, Terry, you have progressed from one level to the next and you keep going up, up. So, I want to hear some of your favorite things, not just level 2, but maybe some of your favorite things for the whole, because you have progressed all the way up.
Boy, I've made a lot of things.
You have.
I wrote them
Thanks.
down.
Yeah, Terry claims that she's actually doing gardening as well.
And she goes hiking.
And she goes hiking. I don't believe her because the number of stitches that she's done over the last year is wow. Sorry, Terry.
The sweater. I didn't join for a few weeks, and then I joined, and Terry's, oh, here's a sweater.
Yeah, I've finished 4 sweaters.
What? Wow.
And I think the summer tee, the bluebell from last summer, is one of my favorites. But I do think this is my level 2, and it is one of my favorite sweaters. And it is because it's the first time I feel like a sweater fit me the way I wanted it to fit me. And I've made, I don't know, hundreds of sweaters in my lifetime. And I'm very rule bound. I know people who know me will be shocked that I admit this. It's just was like mind blowing to say this sweater, I think, is 4 different sizes. And I love the way it fits.
Can you explain that, Terry? 4 different sizes.
Yeah, I'm one size right here, right? And I'm fairly small chested. So it's a different size here. And then I kept trying it on. I'd never tried a sweater on, making it my whole life. 63 years of not trying it on. No wonder they didn't fit the way you wanted them to fit. And so as I worked on the body and as I worked on the sleeves, I could adjust. And I was listening to Roseanne, I was listening to Tiffany thinking, I don't have that much to add, but the confidence that I have now compared to a year ago is a little bit overwhelming to me because I have knitted for so long and I've knit a lot of stuff, but I am now comfortable to say there's no size that has this many stitches, but I'm going to use that many stitches because that's what my body needs. I love my Hemsedal sweater so much, I'm making another one. I am on the second sleeve of my level 3, and I just am in love with it. I love my eternity shawl, which is behind me. But I think there are 2 things that I love the most. One is that I can take this pattern and make it work for my body and not feel guilty about breaking the rule of the pattern. But the other thing for me, and you guys know this, is that I have just had this like mind-blowing experience with color and making color mean something to me instead of walking into a store and buying the color that the sample is made out of. Because now every single sweater I have, every single item represents something and I have a story behind it. I have pictures from the area I love that go with that item. And I would have never believed you if you told me a year ago I would be here right now. I probably would have never believed it. But it goes to the confidence part of saying, this is what I want to do with this project.
Yeah. That's a good, wow. That's a really good answer.
I got a little passionate about it. It means really, I just get like teary eyed and because it means so much to me.
I get the chills.
I
Because
remember a class, Terry, where you said, Anne says in the pattern to do this, and that's what I did. And now I'm listening to you going, I've learned to do anything I want to make it mine.
But it works. And I agree with Tiffany. The community is amazing. And I can hold something up and say, okay, this is where I'm at. What do I do next? I'm confused. Or what do you think about how this looks? And people will have the heart to share what they think. And it's just,
Yeah, to
I've
want you to succeed.
never experienced something like this.
Yeah. We should talk a little bit about the community since you brought that up, Terry, and this is not a question that I had planned, but the community section. So you have a class, but it's not your ordinary class. It is, but it isn't. But you also get a community with it. And then there's an online portal where you can talk with the other knitters about, there's one section where you can talk about anything. And then there's another section called the forum where you can ask questions. Like you said, hold it, send a picture and say, what do I do now? How can I help? And our whole community is really invested in making sure everybody succeeds. And that is so that's part of level 2 that you don't think about with the class, but you get that.
and you keep the access to that. And what is actually brand new is that at the moment, I might change this in the future, but I used to invite people in for you bought the course and you get forever access to it when you buy the course. And then we introduced the community section to it. And then I decided to keep that as a forever access as well. But then I said, no, you're going to keep the community for 2 years because I also invite you in for the second year. Back then we did teaching once a year. Now we do it twice. We tried that out in 25 and it worked out well. So we're going to do it twice this year as well. But then I realized that keeping track of everyone, when did they come in, when did they come out, totally impossible because I didn't have the system set up the way it should have been at the back end. So I've decided, and currently when you sign up, you're going to be invited in for at least another 2 or 3 years. And you keep the community. So it's not like it's only those 8 weeks when the course is taught live. There's so much more to it. And if you end up upgrading, going into one of our communities, one of our journeys, then you get even more of that community sense. But there's so much going on, and particularly during the live teaching, that's when the activity in the community is the highest, obviously. But as you said, and it is really so much going on in those communities during the teaching. The feed is exploding during the live teachings in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Terry, for somebody wondering if level 2 is right for them, do you have any advice you'd like to give them?
I would like them to think about where they're at in their own knitting. Like if they've never done color work, probably not. The right thing for them, maybe start with something smaller, like Tiff said. But I think if you are comfortable with even a hat with color work, level 2 is perfect. Because again, you can look at some of us and we've been knitting for a very long time. And yet every class I sign into, whether it's level 1 or whether it's level 3, I learned something. And I know people have joked around that I keep notes, but I do because I'll be knitting along, listening, thinking, oh, it's level 1 and I'm working on a level 3 sweater. And then someone asks a question and I'm like, oh, that's a good question. So I think in level 2, you have the opportunity to gain the confidence to know how to measure and incorporate previous skills and go forward.
Great. Any questions you want to throw in, Anne?
No.
No. Okay. Let's talk about the different designs in level 2. I see. So there's 2 different designs that you made for level 2, Anne. But with those 2 different designs, you can either make a sweater, a ginzer, or you can make the cardigan. So you could make essentially 4 different pieces from that. And each one has a gauge watch that is something that you're going to use, the hat. So your hat is your gauge watch, which is your cardigan, makes a piece. And you can see in the 2 pictures behind you, the 2 sweaters behind you. So the one on the right is the winter garden, and it's the one Terry is wearing and the one Roseanne is wearing.
Yep. And that's the original one.
That's the original.
Mm,
Yep.
mm,
And then the Ingen, which is the one, the white and green next to it,
mm.
the one I'm wearing. And Tiffany, I think that's the one you did, right? Do you have it to hold up? Tiffany's colors, you guys are knock your socks off colors.
They're really
Yeah,
good. I
They're
really love.
really good.
Yeah.
And her and I are both doing the cardigan.
Yeah.
So this is the Ingen. That's the
Mhm.
second design you have access to if you join level 2.
And the Ingun sweater is actually named after my sister. Ingun is her name, awfully Norse. It's yeah. And she, what happened with that one? That's a little side note. But what happened was that I had the blue one, the winter garden one, and then I forced her to model it because I needed pictures, and it was too small for me. So I said, "You put this on. I want to take pictures." And she said, "Okay, okay. What are you going to use them for?" "I'm going to put them on Facebook." "What?" "I'm going to put them on Facebook." "Yes, but I don't, you're never there anyway, so it doesn't matter," I said. And then she gave in. I see Terry shaking her head because it's just me being how I treat my pet family. But anyway, it's with a lot of love to it. So I forced her to it, and she said, "Okay, yes, I'll do it." And then she said, "I really like this." She had it on, and she was like, "I want one of these." And I never knit for anyone, because one, I don't have the time. Two, people don't appreciate it. Three, I have too much going on. And then she said, and I said, "Yes, I hear you." And then she said, the day after, it was at their cabin up in the mountains. I was there for the weekend. And the day after, she said, "That sweater that you're going to make for me." Sorry? What did I just hear? "That sweater I'm going to make for you?" "Yes, you're going to make me a sweater. I am going on Facebook for you. You are making me a sweater." And I was like, that's a fair deal, really. And I said, "Okay, what colors do you want?" "Charcoal." "Huh? I don't like charcoal," I thought. "Charcoal. Okay. And light browns and charcoal. That's what I want. Okay. Maybe a touch of ochre or yellow or something to something. No." And I was like, okay. So what happened was that I stopped on my way home from the mountains, and I bought her yarn, and I got started. And the thing is, the neckline is the same, but there it stops. Because seriously, this Anne can't knit two of the same model. So I had to make a different diagram to it. The model is exactly the same, but there are two different diagrams. That's why two different motifs. That's why they're different. Because my sister wanted she wanted the blue one, but in charcoal. She got the blue one in charcoal, but with a different motif. So that's why we have different motifs. And then I was asked, what do I call it? And then someone in our community said, not even someone, several of you said, "Why don't you call it after your sister? It makes sense. And the model deserves it." Yes. So that's the name. Ingun is her name, and that's the name of the sweater. And that's why you got two motifs to pick between. Who knows? There might be a third. Not this year, but maybe next
I've
year.
heard rumors there's going to be a third.
I have to make one for myself, right?
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. And that means new motif.
The Anne is coming.
Yeah. The Anne is coming. Yeah. We don't have a sweater called Anne, do we?
No,
Anyway.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So I'm on purpose wearing a not finished because I did want to talk a little bit about being able to go back, but I also wanted to talk about you are right where you're supposed to be, which is a big thing in level 1 and level 2, that there is not pressure put on you in these classes to finish by the end of the class. It is okay to work at your own speed, your own pace. This isn't a There's no yarn police, no knitting police coming to our classes. So it is a nice way to do it. Tiffany's smiling. Don't you agree, Tiffany? You don't have yours done either. You and I are about the same. You're further than me. You've got your first sleeve done. Yeah. So I have finished my first one, into my second one, and it's okay. It's much happier. It's a happy place to be.
Although I have to say, on my trip to Suzanne's shop, I have yarn for the second level 2. So I have yarn
good.
for Winter Garden, just waiting after this one finishes. But then I have Meteoros.
There's always something.
No, with the Winter Garden, which is going to be for my boyfriend. I don't know if that yarn, but I don't know. You might be waiting a little bit.
That would be a great men's sweater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
What colors have you chosen for him?
He's actually getting charcoal,
Charcoal.
but the pink for the design.
Oh,
I like that.
I asked him, would he mind pink? He's like, no. Looks sounds good.
That's brilliant. I love it. I love that.
Because I thought the pink would pop in with a darker charcoal.
And I think it will. And I think it will. It's just that in Norway, everything is supposed to be so muted. And my designs and my colors are muted. My sisters have them even more muted. If it's not off-white or beige or charcoal, it's not happening in their world. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. You guys do whatever you want. Then I so much appreciate people like Roseanne coming with a green one. But I love it. Did you see the collage I posted last week
yes.
with the 4 different greens? I was like, oh, this is such a refreshing collage. Yeah.
So if people wanted to sign up for level 2, let's talk about the process.
Yeah, there is a process. We are opening the level 2 in 2 weeks, but there is a shortcut under here for those who want to. If they want to, they can sign up now, but we're doing the big launch kind of thing in a couple of weeks. Because if you're doing the perfect fit workshop the second week of March, we always do that as a startup to the level 2, and then we close the sign up.
So is the perfect fit workshop for people who sign up for level 2 only?
No, that's a free workshop for everyone. Some people go on using, as I keep saying, this workshop is, and as Roseanne said, and as Terry said, it's actually this fitting thing, getting that garment to fit you is a matter of experience, and it's a combination of experience and knowledge. And if you don't know about the stuff you need to know, then there's no way that you can manage to do that. You need to know before you can actually perform, right? So that what I did was that I made a kind of a workshop where you learn about why gauge is important. You learn about where to measure, and I give you some inspiration on how to actually put together different sizes. But then the actual execution of all this, if you want to really execute everything that you learn in the Perfect Fit workshop, that is coming into practice during those 8 weeks when we do the level 2. But the Perfect Fit workshop is a really good, without bragging, I think it is a really good free workshop that could set you up to succeed without a course. But I also know from experience and also looking at yourself, then you know others, as you say in Norwegian, that taking a free workshop doesn't necessarily mean that you put it into practice. But when you join the course where they actually do that, then it's very often you see, oh, that's what you talked about during the Perfect Fit. Now I see. Now I understand. Then it's, yeah. If you sign up for level 2, you also get access to the Perfect Fit workshop forever, because you have access to that workshop only for a couple of weeks. Only you have it for a couple of weeks and then it's taken down. But when you sign up for the level 2, you have it like forever. and you have the course itself, which is perfect fit in action, really.
Yep. So the
Agreed?
website, Anne's Norwegian Knitting, is where we go to sign up for both.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna actually include the sign up for the course on this website on underneath this podcast episode. Not the workshop quite yet. There are a couple of things that needs to be fixed. So that's coming next week. That's coming on March 1st. You can start signing up for that. But at norwegianknitting.com, that's where you will find it.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add before we end about level 2 that you think I should have asked you?
I can just add that when I joined, level 2 was just starting last fall-ish.
Yeah.
I was really able to go use the Perfect Sid recordings from whenever Anne had it last year, even though I wasn't part of the group back in the spring of last year. And I was really able to follow along, watch the videos, watch the resource and the replays, and catch up to what the fit should be. I've actually already measured. So my boyfriend had to help me measure me, right? And then we measured him too at the same time. That's why I have the yarn and the measurements. It's all ready to go. I even have how many to cast on for him because I just did it all at the same time. So yeah, so it was really helpful.
Yeah.
To have access to that and to be able to use it even though I wasn't part of the group in the spring.
Yep.
Hello.
So that brings up, Tiffany, that's a good point, that we also record every class. So if you're thinking, oh, I work or I can't make it to that class or whatever, it's all recorded so you can go back and watch at any time.
Yep.
Yeah, which is another nice perk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any
Also,
I would
all the
add that-
tutorials.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah. Access to those tutorials, no matter what level you're on. For me, it changed how I knit because I went from being a project knitter to a process knitter. And that happened only because I would watch the tutorials on a certain topic over and over again and then look at what I was knitting and went, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Versus thinking of, oh, I'm making a sweater or I'm making a hat. It's okay, I'm doing this one subsection. Yeah, I agree, Roseanne.
You said it much better, though.
Oh,
You really did.
wow.
More succinct.
So what are you going to do during this round then? Tiffany, I suppose you're following level 2 this round as well to finish your sweater? Or is it you making a cardigan or a sweater?
It's a cardigan.
There, yeah. Yeah. Cool. What about you, Roseanne?
I'm working on my needleros, but I would like to do another hemsedal, and I am thinking of starting a cardigan. I'd like to do the Ingen sweater.
Yeah.
So whether I start this spring versus next fall, we'll see where I'm at.
Yeah, which is
How many projects do I want to have started at once?
Yeah, exactly. But and this is so Anne's Norwegian knitting philosophy. Whether I started now or I started in the autumn, it doesn't really. We'll have to see but it's so fun, and also that thing where you're saying, I have this one going, and I want to do that one, and then I have that one, and don't you worry, I'm going to throw a couple of new projects on you this summer, so don't worry. I love it, Roseanne. I love it.
And I'll probably do them too. That's the problem.
That's brilliant. What about you then, Terry?
I didn't think I'd do another level 2, and I was snowshoeing 2 days ago and bumped into a certain scene in the woods, and I went, that's going to be the next level 2. So I saw her in pictures, and I'm ready to start that.
You briefly touched on it, but like the sweater that you have on now, your level 2,
Yep.
those colors are Lake Superior colors?
This one was done before I had my color epiphany. I just liked these colors. Yeah, this one does not represent anything specific. Yeah.
Having said that, in that sweater, I see Lake Superior. I see the berries in your nature around you, and I see the snow or the froth on the sea, on the water. I see that in that sweater. So when I see you in that, I think, your home place.
Maybe it was in my subconscious and it just hadn't popped out yet. Yeah.
Maybe on a slightly misty day, because then the water gets more grayish, bluish. Yeah. Okay, now we're going down the wrong road. Digressions here.
Remember, I started with being slightly nuts.
Yeah. I do remember. I love that. Cool. Okay. Anything else we should add? Any more questions you have, Steph?
I would say join. You won't regret it.
I definitely second that.
I agree.
So there you go.
There we go.
Join. You won't regret it.
It's a good group.
Very
Thank-
good.
Thank
It's
you.
a lot of fun.
So with that, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click on that like button and do click on that follow button. If you do this on listen on the podcast, click on that follow button. And until next time, knit some beautiful stitches.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for spending this time with us here on Anne's Norwegian Knitting, conversations where knitting meets culture, heart, and history. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to share it with a fellow knitter or leave a note to let us know what you think. If you want to know more about Anne's Norwegian Knitting, go to annesnorwegianknitting.com and check it out. Until next time, may your stitches be steady, your yarn untangled, and your heart full. See you in the next episode.